Hey everybody, Cinis here, bringing you the coveted holy grail of Monster Train speedrunning, a sub-4 minute seeded run. I'm so excited to share it with you all. So this is an entirely new seed from the ones I've used before to garner my previous seeded world records, and as such there's a lot of different tactics to explore. So here is the Gathered Clergy fight, which is the hardest of the three, but it's not catastrophically bad, and I have a pretty easy way of getting around the clergymen, even at max attack, using my torches. And then to get the last hit in on the mustache man, I don't remember his actual name, I spawn a morsel. Pretty simple stuff. And then the Shadow Siege for this particular seed comes right here from the first Umbra unit banner, and I'm able to get multi-strike on it immediately, which is very key for this run, as you'll see shortly. Fight 2 is Barbed Disciples, which is the easiest fight, or not Barbed Disciples, the Penitent, which is still the easiest fight. And so easy to the point that it doesn't even take anything other than pressing end turn to beat. With that, moving on to Fight 3, here's where the run gets a little interesting and a little different from other Shadow Siege runs. I jump into the Concealed Caverns and find the Quintuple Duplicator. So now I already have 6 multi-strike 2 Shadow Sieges, which is enough to absolutely delete anything in the game, all the way up to Seraph, even Seraph the Temperate, who's harder to get a one-turn kill on. Certainly Daedalus is no match. I can skip everything and then take energy as normal. My agenda does include removing Train Stewards, because that's nevertheless important, just to make sure I have all 4 of my Shadow Sieges, which is necessary for much of this run. So then I go immediately into Fight 4, and Fight 4 is again actually a pretty bad fight by normal standards for this run. It's the Absolvers. And they're normally a little annoying, but with new mechanics I can play out the Blights pretty effectively, especially during a seeded play where I know where they are. Sometimes in this fight they'll spawn in slot 4 because a Shadow Siege takes up slot 5. So I take a cave-in here, and you'll see why I do so in several of the next fights. The direct reason is to avoid some Blights in Fight 7, but it also helps out by reducing the movement animations of the enemies from climbing one floor to climbing none. And you'll see how effective that is right here. A single card play brings all the Shadow Sieges down to the first floor, where they can absolutely obliterate everything, just like normal, but the enemies don't have to walk up a floor to get there. And that accumulates over every single turn to a pretty big time save. Especially avoiding the freeze animation during Relentless is pretty good, because that's about 1.5 seconds, I believe. Moving on to Scourgefell, again the worst of the 3. But again, it doesn't really matter because the Cave-In lends so much speed to this run, and I can play the Blights quickly now, especially in Seeded, that I don't really care. I'm able to play out the Ultimate Penance and then the Weight of Contrition without having to deal with the animation, and Fell is dead in a mere 2 turns, which is pretty good. And the fact that I duplicated all of those sieges early means I only have to purge 4 cards, and can just rush through certain rings. I believe rings 6, 7, and 8 all feature me not taking any rewards whatsoever. And that's obviously a huge time save, because spending all that time menuing is not something you really want to have to do. Here's all that Blight savings, and then Living Armor is of course obliterated in one phase. So that cave-in, especially because the seed RNG makes it so that it's drawn in the first hand in all the fights it's needed in, is absolutely huge. Seraph, of course, since I have the damage threshold, is a one-turn kill, as he always is. And that's going to wrap up this run. You'll see the time when I get past Seraph and pause the game. 3:57. The holy sub-4 run is finally here. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do like and subscribe. If not, comment down below how I can improve, and either way, have a good one. This has been Cinis.